Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I'm going to detail the story of Park Village, Compton Crip, Big Rebo. Big Rebo was born in Louisiana in 1957 and moved to Compton, California in 1966 with his family. His family was settled in an area that would be known as Park Village. Rebo grew up in a two-parent home and had a good childhood inside his home. But on the outside of his home, many gangs were being formed and young crews were taking over the streets by force. Rebo grew up in a Crip neighborhood in Compton, with the Crips being one of the few gangs along with the Pirus that was taking over Compton. But Rebo wasn't a gang member and didn't have any thoughts of joining the gang. He just wanted to play sports, with football and basketball being his favorite sports. One day Rebo would ride his bike to football practice, and this would forever change his life. The Pirus would jump him accusing him of being a rival Crip member, which he wasn't. They would jump him and mess up his bike. After suffering defeat, Rebo went back to his neighborhood and told the Crips what happened. This led to the Crips taking Rebo to get revenge, and he would go to the Pirus turf and commit his first shooting. After this day, he officially dropped sports and became adapted to what was around him, and that was gangbanging, and Cripping was his life from there on. Once the streets took over his life, Rebo took being a Crip as serious as it gets. He would be involved in whatever the streets involved. He would hang out with many early legendary Crips like Mac Thomas and Tookie, among several others. Crips were united in Compton, most congregated in the Grandees apartments, and called themselves the Grandee Crips, and Rebo fell under that act. He will also be a part of his neighborhood, and that was Park Village, Compton Crip. The Park Village Crips originally came from the Park Village apartment complex, but later, a lot of members would be from the Wilmington Orange, and both sides rep the Park Village under one umbrella. Park Village Crips are a multi-race gang, being known for having Black, Samoan, and other race members. Rebo became a willing participant in the gang warfare in Compton, being involved in gang fights, shootings, and robberies. And with these type of activities going on, he would go to jail often as a juvenile, and have to serve several stints in jail. Upon Rebo's release from jail, he grew in size from lifting weights in jail, and developed an intimidating presence off his size. With his mother moving to Pirus turf while he was in jail, he would often come back to her home and walk the Pirus turf, showing them he wasn't to be played with, and to strike fear in them. Rebo would turn to robberies in the 80s to support himself. This led to him and his crew committing a robbery in 1984 for $40,000, which he would later be arrested for, with the people in his crew snitching on him after they got picked up on other charges. This robbery led to Rebo receiving charges like robbery, kidnapping, and gun charges. Rebo was known to be passionate about his Cripping and have a dynamic personality. A-Trade gangster Crip Monster Cody would even call him a Crip's Crip. Monster Cody and Rolling 60 Crip Little Fee would get into an altercation while they was in county jail, leading to Rebo going on a rant about Crip unity, which both Monster and Little Fee respected. For charges of robbery and kidnapping, Rebo would receive a 19-year sentence. While in prison, Rebo would build his name up even more, participating in riots, being a stumped-down soldier for the Crips, and willing to do anything that was needed, from fighting and even stabbing opposition and people who needed to be disciplined, gaining him respect from all his peers. After his long sentence, Rebo would be back on the streets and jump into his old ways for years, with his full allegiance being a Park Village, but after several years, he would receive more time and serve some more years. In his later years, Rebo would appear in a legendary interview with Kev Mack in 2019, describing his life and his story. But in December of 2020, Big Rebo would die after a long battle with cancer. He left a mark in Compton and in his hood, and is quoted as being a Crip's Crip and a hood legend. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.